Hey, welcome to Unleash Your Inner Badass, episode number 38. We're the Beach Boss Influencers. My name is Fran Lopesha. We have with me Kat Krasilnikov, Carrie Hyman, Adrian Lundeen, and Brandy Shaver is the other beach, but she can't be with us today. In these episodes, we share with you mindset hacks to help you grow your business, to help you make the mental adjustments that you need to make. Because what we've discovered is that in order to grow, being an entrepreneur, in order to grow a successful business, we can teach, and we teach our students all the strategies. We teach them everything that they need to do in order to grow their business. But what keeps them stuck is what's happening in the 6 inches between their ears. We want to talk about, because this time of year is the time of year where you set your New Year's goals. And you may be sitting here reflecting on the past year and thinking, well, I had these massive goals and I achieved squat. Like I didn't achieve anything. And so right now you may be feeling like I'm a failure. Like who am I to set big goals again for next year, and then I'm not going to achieve anything. And it may be actually holding you back from even setting goals, because you're thinking, well, I'm just setting myself up for failure. So we want to discuss this a little bit, um, because it's important to set goals. It's important to know where you want to be. It's important to know, okay, this is what I'm working for. This is what I'm driving to. Okay. But on that path, on your journey, and I know Carrie often talks about, when a pilot gets into a plane and is flying from, let's say, I get in a plane and the pilot is flying from London to New York. Okay, he has to set the what's the word, the
Ordinance.
coordinates, thank you, into, and know where he's going. And he knows that, like, if he goes 1% or, off path, we might end up in Alaska and not in New York. And you need to know where you want to be. Okay. You need to have something to work. But with that being said, in that process and in that path to your goal and where you want to be, there's one very important process that you need to be doing, and that you need to be doing daily, okay, in order to make sure that you are staying on track, in order to make sure that you stay motivated, in order to make sure that inspiration is going to keep pulling you towards that goal. Okay. And that one thing that we want to talk about is evaluation. Okay. And if you're not looking at, like, okay, here's what I've done. All right. Here is what I did today. And if you're not celebrating the wins, celebrating what you have done. And so often when we look at a win, and we see students do this, when we look at a win, we think, well, I haven't enrolled anybody yet, or I haven't got my 10 customers, or I wanted to make $70,000 in a month and I've made $70. Okay. Instead of looking at the gap, instead of looking at, like, this is what I didn't do, identify the wins, identify what you have actually done. And it is those small wins, the one thing that we get our students to do. And let us know what you're getting from this. I forgot to say, let us know if you're joining us. Let us know where you are. And if you're catching the replay, where you're coming in from. But the main thing, like when we get on our coaching calls with our students, is we get them to identify the wins in their business. And those wins might be, I did a live. It might be, I had 5 people watching my live. It might be, I did my first reel. It might be, I've grown my audience. I've got 10 new people. It might be, I'm getting into conversations with other people. It might be, so it's identifying the little wins in your business, because if you can't identify those little wins, your your business, you're going to lose that motivation, you're going to lose that drive, because you think, well, nothing's working, nothing's working, nothing's working. But things are working in your business, and you just need to be able to identify the little wins, because it is the little wins that is going to get you to the big wins. It's going to get you to your financial goals. It's going to get you to the time freedom that you want. It's going to get you there. But it's important. It's really, really important to identify the little wins, and that you are following a process, that you are trusting that this is what's proven to work. I'm following this process. I'm trusting this process. Okay. And I'm doing the things. Okay, and maybe I haven't enrolled my first person yet. Maybe I haven't got 10 people on my team yet. Maybe I haven't rank advanced yet. But here's what I've done, and celebrate that.
Yeah.
Um,
And one other thing that I want to add, when we come into like the new year, I know that when I first started in growing my network marketing business, you know, when we're setting these goals, I mean, how many of you like have a vision board or, something that you're like looking at every day and you're like, this is what I want. This is like my dream life. And I'm going to have this thing and I'm going to go on this vacation. Well, I remember doing that in the very beginning of my entrepreneurial journey where I had this vision board. And every time I looked at my vision board, I would get excited. But for the first 3 years of growing my business, I was stuck. Like, I thought I was doing the things that I needed. Like, I was doing what my upline was telling me to do. And then, I'd look at that vision board every night and I'd be like, man, like, I'm not accomplishing anything, right? Like, I have this vision board, and some of the things were like, I had um like a pair of pants on this vision board because I was like, I want to be able to like go on a shopping spree, like buy clothes, right? Like it was like little things, and I wasn't even able to like accomplish those little things. And when we're growing a business, the reason it's important to evaluate is because you can take a lot of action and get nowhere really fast. And I fell into that for the first 3 years of my life where I was taking all out massive action. I was having millions of conversations, and I'm like, "Why isn't this working?" Right? And then I'd look at that vision board and I'd get the dopamine hit and I'd go back into this hamster wheel of taking action and not getting results. That's why evaluation is so important, especially when you're, uh, setting goals for the new year and looking back at what you've accomplished over the last year. Because if you're not evaluating and identify what are the things that are working, and then what are the things that are not, and tweaking and changing those things that are not as you go, you end up spinning your wheel. You're taking action, getting nowhere, taking action, getting nowhere. And there might be some of you that, you have that vision board and you look at it and it gives you the dopamine hit, but you're not taking action. The law of attraction is only as effective as the actions that you take each day. And then on top of that, it's how are you evaluating those actions as you go? Yes, let's celebrate those small wins as you get them and evaluate what is it that made it a win? What is it that's getting you closer to your goal so that you are, in fact, moving forward toward that desired result that you want rather than spinning your wheels and starting new things and forgetting that you were doing this thing over here that was working because you started working on this thing that maybe isn't working as well. And we fall into it all the time, even as beaches, right? Where we're constantly evaluating what are we doing? What is the thing that's working, that's driving, 80% of the revenue in our business? What's the 20% that drives the 80%? 20% of actions that we can take that drive the 80% of revenue. And if all we're doing is setting a goal and not taking action, we're not going to get anywhere. If we're setting a goal and taking all out massive action but we're not evaluating those actions, we're spinning in a circle.
Mhm. And y'all, this is, I really hope that you are taking the time to listen to this, because the reason that we've had the success that we've had, and now we are working in a community with 8, 9 figure earners, I mean, is because they've adopted the process of being able to evaluate based off of actual real data and logic, versus evaluating out of a place of emotion, which is, right? I didn't hit that rank. Nothing's working. I suck. Here I am in December. Here I am starting another new year, right? It's so vital that you tap into the healthy evaluation mindset so you can identify those things on a business level in a logical way. That's the only way you're going to actually be able to know what action steps to take and how to actually get that traction. And I want you to think of, like, you have to adopt a whole new mindset, and that's exactly what we teach here. I mean, the things we're discussing, the things that we're teaching, it's inside Unleash Your Inner Badass course. Because otherwise, you're going to be flailing around like what we were doing for 3 years, right? We're taking all this massive action, hustling our faces off, and still not getting any traction, feeling all these feelings, but we keep getting up anyways, right? And I want you to think of it as like, adopting a new way of thinking, and a new mindset. As if, like, okay, if you were software, like, we all use these things, right? What happens when you go into, your app deal and the app maybe is not working, and you go in there and it's like, oh, it needs to be updated. It needs to be updated to the next version. Oh, and it's going to tell me all the bugs that were fixed. So think about yourself as updating your software, updating yourself, because it's going to take a new level of thinking and being, right? And what you're doing is like, look at this year and be like, these were all the bugs. This is what I was going to fix for next year. And then you step into that next version, your 2.0 self, right? And you're thinking in that version, right? You have a higher level of thinking. And then guess what? You start hitting those goals because you're evaluating it in the way of logic, what's working, what's not. Now let's focus on that versus I'm not even going to try. I would hit these goals. Does this thing even work? Like, I'm a failure. I've spent all this time and money, right? And that's like, no, right? So it's going to require you to, get that. What is the update? Update your app, your self app, right? This is where we work out those bugs, we identify those bugs, and we go into 2.0.
Yeah, I used to have like a love-hate relationship with setting up goals because no matter what goals I would set, I'll never be able to hit them in the time that I wanted to hit them. And eventually I was like, what's the point, right? What's the point? It
Mm-hmm.
just makes me less motivated and more upset and feeling like a failure. Maybe I should stop setting the stupid goals altogether and just go with the flow and see where it's going to take me. So, if some of you guys kind of like where I was at that point and thinking, what's the point? Well, the thing is, I've tried both ways. So when you don't have a goal, it's like you drifting like a driftwood or whatever in the river, floating from side to side. You might get somewhere eventually, but it's going to take you 15 times longer than if you were clear where you want to go and what you want to achieve. So this is problem probably the one of the major problems that majority of people they don't know what is it that they want. We kind of know I kind of want to grow my network marketing business, but I'm not really sure if that's what I really want. So I'm just going to try a little bit and see where it's going to take me. So that's like you driftwooding in the river and you floating from side to side, very little you've improving or moving forward very little, sometimes even backwards, because you're moving from side to side, right? You can be drifted backwards. So that's what happens when you don't really know what is it that you want and you just seeing where it's going to take you. So now if you have a clear intention and vision and a goal, that's what I want to achieve by the end of the year or the end of the month or even by the end of today, right? Whatever the time frame is. So, and I'm not going to tell you whether or not to have the biggest audacious goal that's going to make you cry or stay realistic. Whatever way you want to go, it's either going to work or not going to work for two main reasons. So, reason number one, you have a goal. Let's say you finally figured out what is it that you really want. So, that's step number one. Step number 2, have very clear, broken down plan of action, right? You can have the best goal in the world, but if you don't have a plan how you're going to get there, it's again, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're going to be even going backwards if you don't have a plan, right? What they say, the goal without the plan, it's just a dream. And you can dream all you want, and all those dreams going to be on the vision board forever. But if you want to get them off the board onto your bank account, onto your reality, you have to take action and you have to have a plan. So now you can have the best plan out there. You can even hire people to create you a plan and whatnot. But if you don't have a commitment to stick with that plan, no matter how good that plan is, it's going to go down the drain. So, step number 1, whether or not to have a goals. Yes, have very clear goals. And it's up to you whether you want to go big or small. Step number 2, you have to have a plan broken down. And we call it actually reverse engineering, and we teach our students how to do it in our communities. So, reverse engineer those big goals to basically day-to-day activities that you need to be doing. And step number 3, or not even step, it's not a step, it has to be with you all the time. It's that commitment to your goal. And whether or not you're going to stick with that commitment depends on how bad do you want it, right? If it's just, oh, I'm just going to see how this network marketing thing is going to go. No, you're wasting your time. You might have a few sales, might have a good month here, good months there, but at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you'll find all your vision board is still on the board. Right? So you have to really want it, because that's what's going to pull you when the time's going to be hard. When your action plan that you executed, that you planned to do today didn't go as planned. I don't know. My words are like all messed up right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like when the life's going to happen, when your plan is not going to be go as expected, you're not going to be hitting those milestones along the way, it's going to mess up with your mindset and with your belief. And you're going to be like, I knew it wasn't going to work and I'm wasting my time. And you will want to quit, right? So, in order for all of this to work, it's like, has to be a synergy of all of the things that we talked about today. And evaluation after you took that action is also very important. So, I just wanted to summarize all the things that we all had in our brain spinning about this topic. And I hope you guys get in, some aha moments, some value out of it. So what piece of this puzzle you're missing? Maybe you're not clear on your goals. Maybe you don't want it that bad enough, right? Maybe you don't have a plan of action. Maybe you don't have the commitment. Maybe you don't have evaluation process in place. So what is it that you need to work in order for your goals to start working? And so you don't have just the dream board, you have a reality board. Right?
So I'd love to know, what's your biggest takeaway from today? Drop in the chat, let us know. Maybe there's certain things that are coming up for you. Maybe you recognize that you're stuck in the loop of all out massive action, but no evaluation. And maybe you're the person that's hoping to attract things by osmosis, and you know that that needs to change. Like, what is it for you? And let us know, what are some of your big goals that you have, because it's a new year. We're going into a new year. And so with that, Happy New Year from Beach Boss Influencers. We love you guys. We hope that 2024 is full of everything that you put on that vision board. It's not just all out massive action, but it's all out massive action with evaluation. So not only are you gaining traction, but you're building momentum to get those desired results here in the next 12 months. And with that, we'll see you on next week's episode. Happy New Year,
Happy New
everybody.
Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.